Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you a special technique you could use to pack and ship large oversized statues like this 22-inch infant Jesus of Prague statue. And the technique I'm going to show you can significantly reduce the chances that the item is going to break, even if you're shipping it internationally or coast to coast. Now, normally when I source statues, they're much smaller than this. So this would be pretty typical, like a 9-inch Pinocchio mold here, or this 13-inch Virgin Mary statue. And the technique that you use for these size statues is really pretty straightforward. So I'm going to recap it for you, but then I'm going to show you why you can't always use this technique for the smaller statues with a bigger statue like this, and what you could do instead. Requires a little creativity, but it could really pay off. So just to recap what you would normally do, what I suggest, my technique is, now first of all, if it has a hollow opening on the bottom, you're going to want to fill that either with newspaper or bubble wrap. That's going to give it more mass and thus more stability. It's not going to prevent it from breaking in and of itself, but it's an important step to do in those situations. So after you do that, you just wrap it in bubble wrap. Now some people like to wrap it in paper. So, you know, you could do what you like in terms of a wrapping technique, but I've had good success with this, and you're going to want to cover all the ends. I'm not going to show all the coverings here, just making the basic points here. Then you're going to put it inside of the box, and you're going to make sure that you fill all of the void space. You could use packing peanuts, you could use additional bubble wrap, you know, you could use newspaper if you want to, just something to make sure all that additional space is filled. You're going to want to give yourself a little bit of a cushion and a margin here so that it's not pressing right up against the box. Then you're going to fold your flaps, you're going to tape it up, and as we've talked about before, you're going to put it inside of another box so that it's double boxed. That's going to really give it a lot of protection. So why can't we just scale that same process up with a 22-inch statue? Well, the reason is that once you start getting into heights like this, boxes like this are not readily available in this type of scale. Ouch. So that you could, sorry there, sir, so that you can lay it straight down like this and do that same exact process. So let me show you what I mean. And I've got a pretty decent sized box here. Right here, you can see, right? It's pretty big. Well, we try to put the statue in here. You can see, even as big as this box is, it's not even close to fitting him. Now this happens to be 17 inches. So obviously it's not going to work. So, you know, a lot of times when you find boxes that are actually this length, another issue pops up. So this would be an example here. So see, we have a 26-inch box here. See the dimensions? So can we just use that? Well, no, problem is usually these boxes are flat like that, or fairly flat. So obviously that's not going to work either. Okay, that's not going to be a good situation. So what do we do in this type of situation? Well, before I show you that, let me first fill the inside with bubble wrap, and then also put bubble wrap all around it, tape it up, and then we'll get to the next step. Now, if you're wondering where the hand is for the statue, if you have any pieces like this that detach, just wrap them up separately in the bubble wrap, and if it has a hollow opening, I'm just going to put it up right inside of there, and then it's going to be cushioned by all the other protective void fill there. If not, just bubble wrap it and protect it separately inside of the box, which we'll get to a little bit later. Now, something very important to keep in mind with bubble wrapping is that sometimes your bubbles are going to pop. Like you could see here, these have popped. So whenever you could feel the underlying item, Then you've got to put another layer around it like that. That's very, very important. You have to do that little thumb test. You should be feeling the bubbles and not the item when doing that test all the way around the item. We are all set. You cannot feel any of the underlying statue on any side, which is really important before we move on to the next step. Now, we are not going to be shipping this item out horizontally. Instead, we're going to be shipping it out vertically. That's right, vertically. And we're going to be able to easily do that by using one of eBay's own boxes that they send to us if we order these air jackets. Now, the air jackets are these, the 6.5 by 9.25 ones. If you get 100 of them, they're going to come in this size box. Now, if you don't happen to order this stuff through eBay, these types of boxes are commonly found lying around inside Home Depots, big department stores and stuff. So just go there, look, ask, and talk to the manager. Much easier to find something like this compared to a horizontal box that's going to fit something like that. Now, in terms of the length that we have here, this, if we open the flap, the top flap, we're going to get 25.5 inches out of that. If we close this flap, we get 22 inches, which is exactly the size of the statue. So I know what some of you might be thinking. You're saying, well, wait a minute. This statue is 22 inches. I don't quite see how this is going to work. Well, I'm going to explain that in just a moment. But before we get to that part, underneath, you could see here, I've given some additional tape around the seam and also around the edges, because normally when they send you these boxes, it comes with this part open a bit, so you want to protect that, and you also want to make sure you close that seam. The other thing that we want to do is, you could see in here, if you look on the bottom, you could see that's what that flap looks like when it's open a bit. So that's why we want to tape it, and we're going to put some additional protection on the bottom. So what I did is I cut out some cardboard flaps. You want to get some nice, strong, thick cardboard, and we're just going to layer that on the bottom, because that's going to help to protect the base of the statue. Now, you could also put a little bubble wrap down there too, if you would like. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the statue right inside of here, just like this. And if I put the flaps up like that, you can see here that it does fit inside. Now, we're not going to ship it out just like this, because we still want to get a double boxing effect. How exactly we're going to do that, I'm going to show you that in a moment. But what we have to make sure we do before we get to that next step is we have a lot of void space in here. And that's the death of most breakables, it's the void space. So we have to find a way to seal that up. If you try to use things like packing pillows in here, it's not going to really work. Bubble wrap is going to be really awkward. This is a really great situation. I know a lot of people don't like them, but it's really perfect for this. This is really where you want to use these packing peanuts, because they will fit inside of every nook and cranny. So I just pour them down there. Now, I know some people don't like using them because of environmental concerns, but that's why I would just suggest using these biodegradable ones. They're made out of cornstarch, so if you just put them in water, they dissolve. I'll try to remember to put a link to these in the description section. It's an affiliate link, so I do get a little commission through Amazon if you bought it, but you know, you don't have to. I'm just telling you that that's a resource, because someone asked me about that last time. So I'm going to pour the rest of this down here, and then I'll show you what it looks like and what we're going to do at the end to wrap all this up and put it together. So basically what you're doing here is you're mummifying the statue by surrounding it with these peanuts. Every once in a while, make sure that you push down just to make it nice and tight, so that you cover as much void space as possible with these. All right, now once you've gotten to this point where you've covered it about up to this seam, what you're going to want to do is tape these flaps together, and then we're going to continue to fill it up so that we cover the top of the head. All right, well, as you can see here, we've got our taped flaps, and now just finish covering the top. All right, here's our box. Now just bear with me because I'm doing this one-handed, but we're just gonna slide this right over the top and just push it down. Now I've already taped this part here and just gonna keep pushing down. And I'm doing this with one hand. So if you have two hands, it's gonna be much easier. We're gonna push it all the way down and then we're gonna tape these flaps up. Oh, nice. Oh, it really looks good. Tape those flaps up. All right, everyone, this thing is all set. It is rock solid, protected. I'm shaking it around as hard as I can and it is just not moving at all. You could chuck this thing up to the moon and chances are it is not going to get broken. So I hope that these techniques and tips help you and give you some inspiration the next time you go out and you see a giant statue like that. Now you can feel confident that you could follow these methods and you can make some significant money selling some of these things, sometimes hundreds of dollars. So if these tips help, make sure you hit the like button. Also, before you go, please stop off and say hi to my friend Courtney at the Bolo Buddies YouTube channel. I know many of you follow there anyway, but you might not have checked out her eBay store, which, get this, has almost 5,000 items in them. 5,000 items. If you want to check it out, just go to the link in the description section and in the comment section. It's just amazing, and she's been a longtime supporter of this channel, and she's a member, so I want to thank her for that. If you're interested in becoming a member, just click the join button to see all the perks available to you, including having your account featured in one of these videos. So that's all for now, folks. I'll see you at the next one. Take care.